They always warned us about the woods. "Don't let your children wander in there," the elders would say, their voices heavy with age and caution. Strange things happen in those trees. I had heard the stories 100 times, the whispers of children's voices, the laughter that turned to screams, the lost ones who never returned. But like so many in our little village, I thought it was just folklore, a tale spun to keep kids from straying too far. I see now how foolish I was. Alex was always curious, a bright boy with an adventurous streak. He had his father's stubbornness, a trait that made me love him all the more, though it sometimes left me exasperated. "Mom," he'd ask, his big brown eyes wide with wonder, "why can't we go into the woods? They're just trees. What's so scary about trees?" I'd laugh it off, ruffling his messy hair. "It's not the trees, sweetheart. It's what's in them." "What's in them?" he'd press. "Nothing you need to see," I'd reply. But my voice always faltered just a little, and I think he noticed. The night it happened, I'd been setting the table for dinner. Alex was playing in the yard, kicking a soccer ball against the fence. I could hear him laughing to himself, the sound light and carefree. It made me smile. I turned away for just a moment, just long enough to place the last plate on the table. When I looked out the window again, the yard was empty. "Alex?" I called, stepping outside. The yard was still, the ball lying forgotten in the grass. My stomach tightened. "Alex?" No answer. I walked to the edge of the yard, where the woods loomed like a wall of shadow. That's when I saw them, small footprints in the dirt, leading straight into the trees. My heart sank. "Alex!" I shouted, my voice sharp with panic. "Alex, come back right now!" Only silence answered. The trees stood unmoving, their dark shapes pressing in on the world like something alive. I hesitated, the warnings of the villagers echoing in my mind. But he was my son, my baby, and he was there. Grabbing a flashlight, I stepped into the woods. The air changed the moment I crossed the threshold. It was colder here, the kind of cold that sinks into your bones. The flashlight's beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the narrow trail of footprints. I followed them, calling Alex's name, my voice trembling. At first, the woods were quiet, too quiet. No rustling leaves, no chirping crickets, just an oppressive silence that pressed down on me with every step. And then I heard it. "Help me!" The voice was faint, fragile, like a whisper carried on the wind. It sounded like Alex. "Alex!" I called, my heart leaping. "Alex, where are you?" "Over here," the voice answered. It was distant but unmistakable. I hurried forward, the beam of the flashlight dancing over tree trunks and tangled roots. The footprints continued, but they seemed wrong somehow, spaced too far apart, as if he'd been running, or pulled. "Mom," the voice came again, closer now. "I'm lost. Help me." I stumbled into a clearing, and my breath caught. In the center of the clearing stood a doll, propped upright on a rotting tree stump. It was old, its porcelain face cracked, one eye missing. Around it were shoes, dozens of them, small, worn, some so old they were falling apart. My eyes darted from pair to pair until I saw them. Bright red sneakers, Alex's sneakers. My knees gave out, and I fell to the ground, clutching the shoes as tears blurred my vision. "Alex!" I screamed. "Alex, where are you?" The whispers began then, not one voice but many, overlapping, coming from every direction. "Help me! Over here! I'm scared!" The flashlight flickered, its beam growing weaker. Shadows moved at the edge of the clearing, quick and fleeting. I spun around, trying to find their source, but there was nothing, only trees and darkness. "Mom!" Alex's voice called again, louder this time. It was behind me now, deeper into the woods. I stood clutching the flashlight like a lifeline and took a shaky step forward. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of cries and laughter, blending into something almost inhuman. "I'm coming, baby," I whispered, my voice barely audible over the din. "I'm coming." The trail of footprints led me further into the woods, deeper than I'd ever gone. The trees seemed to close in around me, their gnarled branches reaching like twisted hands. The whispers followed, growing more urgent, more frantic. "Stay with us. Play with us." I tried to block them out, focusing only on Alex's voice, but it was changing. It no longer sounded like my son. It was thinner, stretched, as if something was imitating him. "Mom," it called again, but this time it was wrong. Too high-pitched, too hollow. I stopped, my breath coming in ragged gasps. "You're not him," I said, my voice trembling. "Where is my son?" The forest fell silent, and then they came. Shadows slipping between the trees, their movements jerky and unnatural. They circled me, whispering in voices that weren't quite human. "He's one of us now. You can join him. Stay." The flashlight flickered again and died, plunging me into darkness. I screamed, swinging it wildly, but there was nothing to hit. The whispers grew louder, a deafening roar that seemed to come from inside my own head. I dropped to the ground, clutching Alex's sneakers, and sobbed. When I woke, the sun was rising, its pale light filtering through the trees. The forest was quiet again, eerily so. The flashlight lay beside me, its batteries drained. Alex's sneakers were gone. I stumbled back to the village, hollow and broken. They found me at the edge of the woods, rambling about whispers and shadows. They didn't believe me. They said the woods take what they want and never give it back. But sometimes late at night, I hear him. "Help me," his voice whispers on the wind. It's faint, but it's him. I know it is. I've begged the villagers to listen, to go back and search, but they're too afraid. I'm not. I'll find him. Even if it takes the rest of my life, even if it costs me everything, because he's my son, and no mother gives up on her child, even if the woods won't let him go.